Daredevil and Jessica Jones are both superpowered heroes that keep the streets of Hell's Kitchen clean. He's got super senses and she's got super strength, and they both know their way around a brawl. And while they may be neighbors, the stars of Marvel's 2 Netflix series have yet to cross paths. But what would happen if Daredevil and Jessica Jones had a real Hell's Kitchen showdown? Would the Private Eye turn Daredevil into a punching bag? Or would the Man Without Fear treat Jessica Jones as a hostile witness? Who will be the winner in this superhero showdown? Let's meet the contenders. Daredevil versus Jessica Jones. Daredevil. Hailing from Hell's Kitchen, Matt Murdock practically grew up in a gym watching his father train to box. A car accident involving a truck of hazardous materials robbed young Matt of his sight, but enhanced his remaining senses to superhuman levels. After his father's death, Murdock met martial arts master Stick and became his protege. The blind instructor taught Matt how to hone his heightened senses and molded him into a master of hand-to-hand combat. Murdock put these lessons to use as a vigilante after graduating from Columbia Law School. His adventures as the Man in Black increased over the years, and his mission reached new heights when he started a one-man war on the crime families of Hell's Kitchen, specifically Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin. Now possessing a fully armored suit and durable helmet, Murdock assumed the role of Daredevil and put his senses and skills to work protecting the people of Hell's Kitchen. Jessica Jones. Teenager Jessica Jones' average life in Caldwell, New Jersey came to a tragic end when her entire family died in a car accident. After being the sole survivor of the crash, Jones woke up in a hospital to find that her medical bills had been paid by a secretive paramilitary group, and that she'd been adopted by a spotlight-seeking stage mom as a publicity stunt. Growing up in the same house as a perfectionist mother and a teen idol was hard enough for Jones, and then she discovered she had the strength to rip the sink off the wall or crush an alarm clock. Jones kept her abilities to herself well into adulthood, only using them to save strangers in extreme circumstances. But after one of these, Jones caught the unwanted attention of villain Kilgrave, who then used his mind control powers to possess her for a year. After breaking free of his grip, Jones opened alias investigations and started a career as a private eye, while also battling her PTSD. Powers. While Jessica Jones possesses superhuman physical abilities, Daredevil's a regular human, one with extensive athletic training operating at peak physical performance, sure, but still a human. Matt's real superpowers are his senses. He can hear a person's heartbeat, read print by feeling the raised ink, and even detect electronic currents. His enhanced senses all combine to give him a radar sense that makes him aware of what's around him and gives him a 360-degree field of almost vision. On top of that, Daredevil's been trained within an inch of his life by Stick in a dozen martial arts. He's also an expert gymnast and marksman, which allows him to dodge the blows that could crush his human body. His weapon of choice is a billy club, which he can throw with incredible accuracy. What Jessica Jones lacks in training, she more than makes up for in sheer power. Jones can lift a car and toss people around like rag dolls, and she can withstand almost any physical injury. While she's not immune to gunfire or explosions, she can shake off most punches with ease. Her superhuman strength also allows her to run a 4-minute mile and keep up with moving cars. She can also do Hulk-style leaps of great height, and while Jones doesn't know judo or Muay Thai, she's been in more than enough bar brawls to learn how to throw down. You don't need fancy moves when you punch with the force of a wrecking ball. Weaknesses. But just because Jessica Jones is hard to hurt doesn't mean she can't be hurt. Her weaknesses are all internal. Jones is quick-tempered. While she's capable of truly outsmarting her enemies, she can also become careless and sloppy if she's provoked. She's also a pretty hard drinker, so the odds of her being just a little tipsy if Daredevil gets the drop on her are pretty good. And while it may be hard to land a punch on the incredibly nimble Daredevil, Matt Murdock's body is definitely capable of being broken. He's not a god or a super soldier, he's a guy in body armor. If Jones catches Matt at his day job, her strength could do a number on him. And while Jones can withstand some serious punishment, Murdock has had to spend whole episodes of Daredevil recovering on his couch from fights. His body armor does a lot to protect him, but it's still not perfect. A point-blank shot to the forehead from Punisher didn't kill him, but it left him with a concussion and wreaked havoc on his powers. The fight. A showdown between these two would be like anything either character has ever faced in their solo TV series. Jessica Jones has not gone up against any opponent that comes close to having Daredevil's level of training. Her primary antagonist, Kilgrave, was all about mental manipulation and less physical altercation. Her show-stopping fight with Luke Cage demonstrated Jessica's determination, perseverance, and resourcefulness, but Luke's a brawler with skills and strengths similar to her own. It's anybody's guess how Jess would handle an opponent that ducks and dodges with the skills of Daredevil. If Murdock's fast enough and resilient enough, he could land multiple blows on Jones before she even gets her hands on him. And while Daredevil has plenty of experience fighting tons of ninjas, he's never fought anyone as brutally strong as Jessica Jones. The Kingpin comes close, as the crime lord is basically a mountain of muscle, but Wilson Fisk is still a non-powered individual. And even though Fisk is merely human, his considerable might has been enough to give Matt a considerable beating. Add in Jones's enhanced durability and speed, and she may be too much for Daredevil to handle. And there's one thing about Jessica that could spell big trouble for Daredevil. While Matt Murdock has vowed to never take a life, Jones has never made that promise. Just ask Kilgrave. Well, you can't, because she snapped his neck. If Daredevil's in full armor and Jones isn't nursing a hangover, this fight could go on for a while, wrecking tons of walls in the process. Thanks to those enhanced senses, Jones would never be able to surprise Daredevil, and he'd easily dodge many of her swings. But every full-force punch that Jessica lands on Daredevil would hurt, especially the blows to his head. And Jones isn't an easy character to knock out. Her durability means Daredevil will have to work twice as hard as usual. This fight could easily go Jones' way if she gets pushed to the edge. Remember, Jones shot Luke Cage, a man she loves, in the head, just to stop his Kilgrave-induced rampage. And Daredevil's armor doesn't look like it would prevent a clean neck snap. But what Matt Murdock lacks in strength, he makes up for in experience and training. As soon as he hears Jones' heart rate approach bloodthirsty levels, he'll do whatever it takes to knock her out, even if that means using multiple flying punches. The important thing to remember about a Daredevil win, though, is that Jessica Jones is still breathing as a badly concussed Matt Murdock stumbles away. So there you have it. That's how Marvel's two street-level superheroes stack up against each other. Do you think Daredevil's super skills would stand up to Jessica Jones' super strength? Let us know in the comments and subscribe to CBR for more superhero showdowns and awesome videos like this one.